My name's Nigel Waymouth, and I'm going to talk about the work I did in the 1960s, which is considered, sort of the golden age of youth, and the Beatles and the Stones emerging, and Bob Dylan and all that. But there was also a lot of visual creativity. There was a lot of pop art movement around, the Andy Warhols and others who were in that genre, in the fine arts. But in the graphics, there was a lot of things happening, both in London and in San Francisco and in Amsterdam. And it was linked really to the culture, the youth culture, which, as I say, is much to do with the pop music culture. And of course, there were smoking and taking trips and all that stuff that went with it. But that's not really as important as what was produced, of course. And for instance, I don't think I ever designed a poster stoned. There's some sort of myth that, some of the psychedelic posters were produced on LSD trips is a bit crazy. I don't think you could function, with discipline on a drug like that. So, and that's out the window, all that. But anyway, we produced these posters for, started with a club in London called the UFO Club, where the resident band was young Pink Floyd, and they played every week on Fridays, and that was the night that the Irish dance hall was given over to young people in London to go and see films by people like Kenneth Anger and listen to Pink Floyd and just dance. So I got in partnership with somebody called Michael English, who was a graphic designer, very good, and he'd done some work for International Times, which was a counterculture newspaper, and he designed the masthead. And anyway, we were put together to design posters, and it was a bit of a gamble because we didn't know each other, but we soon understood each other and enjoyed each other's company, and produced these works, which are now in places like the Victoria and Albert Museum. There's a complete collection which they bring out from time to time when they're talking about that era, or people to do with it, like David Bowie or Pink Floyd. Let's talk about some of the posters. For instance, there's the big UFO poster, which is still sold today. These posters, you can buy them from Bamalama Posters in the centre of London. There's a shop there which deals with them. They're my agents for this. And UFO poster was for the club, as I say. Then there was the Fifth Dimension. This is a commission, was given by this club that opened in Leicester. I've never been to it, never saw it, but they engaged the Pink Floyd again, and they asked us to do a poster. I should talk a bit about Michael English. Michael English, as I say, was my friend and partner in the graphic business, and Michael had been trained in art at Ealing School of Art, where he met his friend Pete Townsend of The Who, and we did some work for Peter and The Who, and he brought a lot of technical experience, and together we cooked up these posters. Fifth Dimension, there was the big UFO poster for the Underground Club, as I say. Now, that's an interesting one. We did that off our own bat. It was a poster to promote ecology. I mean, we were very early in pushing the idea of saving the planet from pollution, and so we produced this poster, Save Earth Now, and it sold, and it still sells. It wasn't to do with anything to do with music. That was much more political, and was one of the few that weren't. It was one of the few that wasn't anything to do with music. A number of posters we were commissioned by Brian Epstein, who had bought the Savile Theatre in Shaftesbury Avenue, beautiful Art Deco theatre, which is still a cinema. And on certain nights, Sunday nights, he would put on pop shows. You know, I remember Jimi Hendrix, Donovan, and those sort of people who would play there, and they were gigs, and they were always sold out. And we did a number of posters for him. These were slightly different because we used lithography rather than silkscreen, because it was cheaper, and which gave us more freedom in a way. We could use things like the airbrush to produce images, which we hadn't done before, because silkscreen has a demand of its own in what you do. I rather liked our silkscreen posters better, because they felt more crafted, and yes, I mean those were the things we were doing. We were asked by various groups to do promotional posters, and we didn't do too many album covers, funnily enough. We did one for, I'll come on to this, Guy Stevens, who was a producer at Island Records, a brilliant man whose last record was the Clash, London Calling, and he was very keen on using us for promotion. And he thought it would be nice to make a conceptual record, where we invited all our friends to, I think it was the Pie Studios in Marble Arch, and we went there, and we had free run of the place, and people came along with flutes and drums and tambourines or whatever else they wanted to play, and we made this record. There were one or two. Brian Jones came to that, and it was all great fun. The resulting sound was a cacophony, and I thought nothing much about it until about 20 years ago. I was rung up by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum in Cleveland, Ohio, who said they wanted to talk about Hapshash. I thought they wanted to talk about posters. They said no, they had all the posters. They wanted to talk about this record. And I said, why? I mean, it's not particularly musical or anything. And they said, oh no, but it's one of the first conceptual records, and for that reason it's quite important. And so there we are. Little did I know at the time. Guy had a tragic life. He was an addict, and sadly he's passed on. But he was a wonderful rock and roll record producer. He always said this music is to be played at full volume. He loved all that. He liked it loud, and it's interesting. These posters are still sold today, as I say, but now something new has occurred with technology's advance, and it's two of the posters are going to be produced as NFTs. I myself know little about it, but I understand that these posters, Save Earth Now and The Fifth Dimension, Leicester, are programmed to be NFTs, which is very exciting to see what happens when they are animated as such and they become something else. So it's not just the 60s, it's the 21st century at work on this work too, which I rather like. And I'm dying to see the results. But as I say, the Save Earth Now poster, of course, is timeless in the sense that the message is essential always. It's about saving the planet from pollution, as I said before, and so it'll be a good thing to see it animated and pushing that message further. So these are the first NFTs I've done, and it's very exciting that we've got these two posters coming out as NFTs, and I can't wait to see the results, I must say.